See, I always heard that speaking after lunch is difficult. But speaking after so many doctors and so many animated presentations is really looking to be very difficult. But this topic of patients and the role of patients in healthcare is very close to my heart from multiple viewpoints. First is that my family had almost all the category of patients that anyone would have described. That's one. Second thing, that I have been involved with healthcare right from the hospital boards to disease management companies to retail organizations. And the third thing, I have also been invited, with the government of India on couple of occasions for expert consultation of disease control in India. So when Dr. Malpani sent me an invite, it was tough for me because last more than 2 weeks I have been traveling abroad. And as you can see from my tired face that, it's without sleep that I come here to speak to you. So let me go straight to the topic. See, recently there was a standoff, between the providers and insurance companies. It was painful that patients who are actual users of the services and ultimately fund more than 80% of the healthcare in India were nowhere in the discussion. It's a call to action for patient communities in India to get organized and assert their voice with all the stakeholders in the continuum of care. We see, I'm the only probably non-medical so far who's speaking in this forum, and every time I go in the forums called by the government, I find the people who are invited are either the people from the biggest groups of healthcare or the bureaucrats, who talk. But patient is nowhere in the discussion. So, whereas one side, everything is concerned with the patient, but he is nowhere in the picture. So, currently the healthcare system revolves around doctors, hospitals, surgery and pills. And the focus point is balance sheet or the number of patients. Until this shifts to the patient and outcome-driven treatment, the pain to patients and the cost to payers is never going to reduce. And trust me, this is exactly what's happening. I was in the US and I was talking to Senator Tom Daschle. He was the person who drafted the healthcare reforms and he's been selling it to Republicans. It's been a hard sell. It's not easy. But there again, as you see how the healthcare reforms in the US has moved for last more than 25 years during the Clinton's announcement, is like payers always sabotage. Anything you want to do, it concerns the patients. Because patient wants to pay less, wants to use the health facilities to the minimum. You never make money in preventing a disease, you make money in treating a disease. So why should providers, work out something that saves money for the system? So that's where the biggest dilemma in the fight is. The reason why industry is hurt and the patients are lost in the entire continuum of care is because the industry is organized and the patients are not. It is time for patients to get organized, share experience, knowledge, together assert their voice to make difference to the healthcare system. We need a patient care collaborative. And I'm thankful Dr. Malpani to at least getting these things organized. I don't know how much impact at the end of this deliberations would come out to be, but unless patients get organized, unless they present a unified voice to the government, all policy changes would be useless. I can bet you, if at the end of this workshop, if Dr. Malpani is going to come out with something that can be presented, today we have a good opportunity in terms of a very good health secretary, Sujata Rao. As much I criticize the Minister of Health, Dinesh Trivedi, we are very opportune and fortunate to have Sujata Rao. So if you can come out with good concrete suggestions to in a reform, but it should be presented from a patient stakeholder perspective, not from a doctor perspective. Because we have too many doctors already driving the thought process in the government. So, and patient is never heard because they are never organized. Tell me at any discussion, I was invited by the National Council for Human Resources and Health. But the other people who were sitting were the board of governors of MCI, the son of D.Y. Patil, and the bureaucrats. I was the only non-medical talking to them and probably could give some input from the patient perspective. But there is no patient care collaborative in India that is invited to any of the talks with the government. So I think it is a unique opportunity for Dr. Malpani and others present here to form something that can be taken to the government, to bring the patient perspective into the recommendations. Where do we start? Community level and go upwards. Condition specific, age specific, gender specific. Wherever there is a need for a long duration treatment, we need to get these patients getting organized. What kind of groups one can form? Diabetes related groups, hypertension, cancer, CKD, asthma, geriatric care. Anywhere where you feel that the patients need to be heard, they need to be organized. Now, patients with comorbidities, patient peer groups are the most effective ones because that's where they immensely benefit because of experience sharing. Role in policy and advocacy, if you had this patient care groups, like we had the standoff between the insurers and the payers, providers, There can be an advocacy at the level of government, at the level of industry. Today, industry does so many things. It's not protocol driven. Now they can, provide any amount of treatment to anyone because there are no protocols to be looked at. But who is going to do? Doctors probably may not be the right people to recommend that, but patients are the people who can insist, we need protocols for this particular treatment. And it's not that, we should not do it. Even smaller countries like UAE, where I've advised those government, they have come up with protocols on level 1 of diabetes, level 2 of diabetes, level 3 of diabetes. A doctor has a leeway in terms of the line of treatment he takes, but there is some directions and guidelines given as to what he can do. If there's a hypertension, the first stage, the second stage, he needs to adhere to those guidelines. That is what we need in India, because it's a huge country, the requirements are going to be huge. Unless we have standardized, or rather I'll say harmonized healthcare, we are not going to come with anything conclusive. The single biggest challenge before the global healthcare systems, which need immediate attention, is the cost and outcome of not being able to manage chronic disease, and the ultimate way to go is self-care. The patient groups will play a most important role in ensuring compliance and treatments that lead to better outcomes and reduce dependence on clinical resources. See, I had a unique opportunity to head the only disease management company in India called Medibase as CEO, and I have visited and talked to patients across the country. The biggest impact on compliance happens when the patient peer agrees talk to the patient. See, there's a distance, there's a gap, and I always say this, doctor is always close to God, you will never be able to change it. Even if he's a good friend of the patient, a nurse is close to a doctor. Who is closest to the patient? Who bridges that gap? So this disconnect, it can only come when you start bringing peer groups or the patient groups, because they are more free to interact. If a diabetic talks to a diabetic, he says, look, in this condition you need to do this. I benefited. It has better outcome than a doctor telling, and I agree, that doctor is responsible for giving all guidance, but do you understand? The time he has is precious. He can use that to give the right amount of advice, to talk right things. But don't expect him to spending 60 minutes with the patient. Is not going to help, because specialized doctors are far and few in the country, and we don't want to waste the precious resources. Some of the common things can be taught by a counselor, which has a very critical role in the system, and the patient groups. Let's not discount that. See, this is a Stanford model of the chronic disease self-management program, which was totally based on the patient peer groups. It was found to be truly beneficial to targeted populations, demonstrated it doesn't cause harm, demonstrated it doesn't waste resources. Now, this is what I expect, when I attend this workshop, or interact with you, is at the end of it, there should be a patient collaborative being formed. From the groups, various chapters, town level communities go upwards. Start the advocacy effort. See, one of the biggest value you add to your fraternity and to the patient is start advocacy. Go to the government with some set of concrete recommendations and actionable steps. And I tell you that if you put them 10, 3 will get accepted. I have written the health reforms document for the government, and trust me, majority of the things have come out from it, and they have acknowledged it. It's not, that the government doesn't act. Show them the right, don't criticize them. You criticize government, don't get anything out of it. Work with them. I think the best things you could do is start advocacy first, and we hope in the next 2 years we'll see a lot of positive changes coming. Making recommendation representation to accreditation bodies, financing their outreach efforts. Today, one of the biggest things I see with biggest hospitals is JCI accreditation, NABH. But these are marketing gimmicks. What do? Paste it on the reception area. Patient doesn't know what a JCI accreditation means. Now, have they done any outreach where they go out and explain, it is JCI's responsibility, they charge a bomb from the hospital for giving JCI accreditation. Is it not their responsibility to create public awareness of what the accreditation means to the patient? No one questions. If there was a patient advocacy group, they would reach out to JCI and say, look, Dr. Ismail, we need you to spend money on creating awareness of what the hell JCI means. Because today it's just a marketing gimmick. Trust me, it's not more than anything. NABH, they have same list of assessors who go to the hospital, assess. We know it's another MCI in the making. So the patient advocacy groups need to come out, force these people to come out and create awareness. What does NABH accredited hospital means to me? What does CAT lab mean to me? As a layman, it doesn't. I don't know what it means. There are some good certificates I see. I believe these are great facilities to get myself checked, and I pay additional cost because, sir, we are JCI accredited. So what? What do I get? So I think this is one of the things that I would like patient advocacy groups to, reach out to these accreditation bodies to create public awareness about what they mean to them.